thing that I liked the most was Colonel Larson. He'd come in, 22s a-blazing. I think they even went out in the parking lot and did tricks, which I thought was, fun.
I was always in awe of art. Just anybody who could draw like that was just so impressive to me.
Bob and I became good friends, and he decided that maybe I could do a little fill-in sometimes on his show. And of course, I was the station artist anyway, so I'd get out there and do my shtick, with the drawings and the cartoons and that sort of thing. The sheriff name is Bob. So it's spelled the same forward as it is backwards. And he's also a sheriff. So this is usually what we do with Bob. Like that. And Bob says, keep smiling. They'll never know what you're thinking. Well, the kids were mostly like Cub Scouts or Girl Scouts or something, and they would come and sit on the bleachers in the studio. And at a certain point in the program, I would pick out at random a kid to come up and draw some kind of a line, and I would try to make a picture out of it.
So I can just scribble anything and you're going to make something?
Just a line, just one line, yeah. Something like that. Okay. Well, you never know what might happen when people like this fellow made this. It's really, he did the artwork, not me. So I just have to carry on from what he did. And there you are. A picture of my old teacher, Mr. Magoo. And he was a good one, too.
Great, that's great. That's how you were doing it. Cool.
Okay.
I like your opener. It reminded me of when I was young.
Oh, yeah?
So cool.
This is a rumor. I'm not sure if this is true. This is deep in my memory. I remember competing with Art several times while I was on the show because I was a budding young artist myself. And one time I think I remember that he couldn't create anything out of the squiggle that I made. And I swear to God, I've been saying as long as I can remember that I stumped Art.
Yeah, there was one kid that stumped me.
And that would be me. I can't believe that's true, but maybe.
I don't know why. I wasn't quite up to par that day, I guess.
I hope he wasn't stumped by a boy, though.
He did a line, and I just couldn't figure out anything, so I told him I was stumped. That was it.
I don't think I dressed up like boys during those days. So it was a definite piece of Eau Claire history, and Bob Dawson deserves every bit of acclaim that he can possibly have for being Sheriff Bob. I mean, it was the Captain Kangaroo of Eau Claire.
And I just remember being completely starstruck by this man and his presence. Even later in life, when I first got to meet him, one-on-one where I got to work with Sheriff Bob, I was probably 34 or 35 years old, and it was up at Community Television, and it was for one of our auctions, and I got to meet him. I got to be the talent person that year, and I got to talk to him, and he got to talk to me, and I just didn't know what to say. It was the first and last time I was really starstruck like that. I don't get that starstruck with people, national stars kind of, that I do with this man. And the first time I met him, I got a really interesting story out of him and got to call my wife and tell her, and I just think he's still the biggest star Eau Claire has ever had.
Well, back in 1963, my little nephew turned 4 years old, and he was afraid to go to be on television. So my sister asked me, would you like to go with him? And I said I would. And so I was around 8 years old. It was before I turned 9. And I took him to be on the Sheriff Bob show, and I'll never forget how much fun it was. It was a great time.
I was very scared. There were so many lights and cameras and big important people dressed so fancy. It was a little intimidating being a little person.
But they had bleachers for us to sit on.
Big, open, chilly, and sort of confusing because they had all these bleachers and things that kids just sat on, and I can imagine it must have been a director's nightmare trying to get these kids to focus on him and or Sheriff Bob while they're taking all the cutaway shots where kids are, you know, okay, what am I supposed to be doing? There's supposed to be a cartoon on, but I can't really see it because it's just a little TV. But it was interesting from a little kid's perspective, because all the kids wanted to be on Sheriff Bob. You had to have some of that Peter's Meats, and you had to have the chocolate milk, and you had to watch cartoons.
Well, later on, of course, Peter's Meats wanted to get into the act and give all the kids hot dogs. So I even had some of the kids that would come out there. They were there every Thursday. We tried to limit, you know, how many times you could come, but they'd sneak in anyway. So there were several of them that were older kids, and they always wanted to help out. So I'd say, first of all, we wash our hands, and then you can put them in the bun, roll them up in a paper napkin, and then help pass them out while we were in the cartoon. And many of those kids have now gone on. They're adults, some of them school teachers, doctors, dentists, and it was really great to have them about.